Hey there folks, welcome to this video, and here I'm going to be talking about Citroen in the WRC, and in particular about the new aero upgrades they were seen trialling last week, which, well, it's been quite interesting. I will provide some links down below for you to have a look at, because I quite like it. I quite like the look of them, and it could signal a change in the aerodynamics in WRC, but it also could not. So let's just talk about the kind of differences there are. I'm not going to use the pictures. I will send links in the description below for you to go and have a look at. But the aero is essentially an adaptation of what Toyota has in the Yaris. A kind of circular multi-tiered wing. Well, a semicircular, I guess. But also with a more aggressive front aero. Citroen say that it's to try and combat the understeer problems they had in Germany, because it's been weird. In this spec of World Rally car, Citroen appeared to have a car that is better on gravel than it is on tarmac, and isn't exactly the strongest car on tarmac either. Which, given the history of Citroen, given the history of French teams in the WRC, is a massive outlier, really. But I love the look of this aero. I've always loved the look of it. It reminds me of, say, the 206 or the Zara. It reminds me of lots of early noughties World Rally cars. But the way which it's designed, it just looks wonderful. It does look like it's copying Toyota, but then it's not like Toyota has a monopoly over the use of that kind of aero. But it'll be interesting to see the effects and whether or not it's going to be brought in for like Spain and for the rest of the season, or whether it's going to be something that comes in to start next season, because Citroen still they wanted to bring in new suspension for Spain as well, but they've used up, I believe, all of their homologation jokers, which means it's they can't really add new like suspension parts to the car until next season now. So that means they could have a very strong car in 2020. I think another couple of interesting points from it are, do I think any other teams are going to adapt to this? Well, I think the kind of aero that is on the Citroen and Toyota isn't necessarily one that Hyundai or Ford can use, given the shape of their cars. I think Ford are more likely to be able to use it than Hyundai, but Hyundai would have to go with a different solution just because of the design of the i20 Coupe. But also, the other kind of talking point is who they've had testing the graphical development stuff, which is Eric Camely. And it's interesting because, well, it looks at some kind of rules that WRC has. So essentially, as long as you haven't entered a World Rally Championship event in the Works team, in the top flight, you can do pretty much like almost unlimited testing. You don't have any kind of restrictions on where you test or really how often you can test. But yeah, it's something that's quite interesting, because that's why Camely's been used in different kinds of teams. Like, he was quite integral to the development of the R5 Evo 2 Ford Fiesta, but also quite key to the development of the Polo. And I don't know, do I think Camely might make a comeback? I think if Citroen have the funding to put 3 cars in next season for any event, I reckon Camely would get it. But that's all dependent on them having the funding. Anyways, that's just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye for now.